Hey, how you doing, man? So, on this episode of Have You Ever Wondered, I'm flying solo, and I'm going to share something with you in the next 20 minutes that I do every single day, and it really helps me stay grounded. And I'm going to talk you through that, so grab yourself a cup of tea and make some notes, and maybe try this out. So, it kind of came about, this thing, and it's a check-in with my mate Phil. We've not given it a name or anything, but this is something that I do every single day, and we've been doing it since lockdown, which is quite a while now, isn't it? Lockdown. And the reason I'm bringing it to you guys is I get so many men who come and work with me or see me on social media, and they say, I've got lots of friends, I know lots of people, lots of friendships, but I still feel quite isolated, and I don't get to have the conversations that I want to have because the men that are in my world, maybe they don't have the skills and the ability to listen and hold space for me. So what happens is, us men don't feel like we have the safety or the permission to actually go and share where we're actually at. And when I say where we are actually at, I mean like what's underneath the surface. What is true for you? How are you doing today, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Now, when I say spiritually, I don't mean anything religious context. I mean, like, how are you in yourself? Your granddad might have said, or your gran. How are you in yourself, Jamie? Like physically and emotionally, we can speak to that quite easily. But that, how are you in yourself? That's spiritually. That means, so when I feel in a spiritually kind of place, I guess the easiest way would be like, I'm on a beach, my kids are playing in the sea, and I can see them running around. That's when I really sort of connect into here, into my heart. Like, oh, that's when I'm in my spiritually place. So how do I feel spiritually? Might mean like, how do I feel in myself? Well, I feel a bit flat. I feel a bit alone, I feel a bit isolated at the moment. I'm not really getting out much. That's how I feel spiritually. So these check-ins, I've been doing these with Phil since lockdown. And we do this every single day. We don't miss one. Every single day. And we do it on WhatsApp audio. We did it as an experiment to see what would happen if we just checked in with each other for 5 minutes each day around those 3 questions, see what would happen in the space of a week, see what would come up, and it's just stuck. And some days we do 5 minutes, some days we do 25 minutes, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've designed it in such a way that we get to say and share whatever we want. It's a safe, convenient, confidential space. There's no judgment, there's no fixing, there's no giving advice unless we ask for it. And we get to really check in with each other and how we're doing. And I get to check in, say my thing, and then I get to receive his on the same day. How's he doing? Now, there are some rules around, and I'm going to talk you through this. There's no script to this video. This is just me riffing and out for a walk, which is what these videos, Have You Ever Wondered, are about. This is just me in Stroud, wandering around the hills with you and a cup of tea. So, bear with, it's just a monologue, okay? So many of us men don't get to talk about where we're actually at. And I think that's why we find ourselves in this isolated place. Because we've got lots of friends, we've got family, we've got wives, girlfriends, partners, whatever. But we very rarely get to talk about how we're actually doing. And the reason I think that is true is because we don't feel safe. Now, that's not to say that you don't feel safe to share something with your partner, of course. I mean, you might have a really great relationship with your partner. But sharing it with your pal, who you've got this design thing with, gives a different level of listening and holding space, and I'm going to come into it, so stick around because I'm going to show you how to do this and how to practically do it. And it doesn't have to be with your best mate either. It might not be your best mate who you want to just try this out for a week, because that's the intention. I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to invite you to practice this for 1 week with someone that you choose to do it with. The intention is to trial it for a week, see how it goes, and then you might carry on. And I guarantee you, you will carry on, because you'll get so much from it. So the reason we don't share with our wives and people that, you know, like, is because we don't have that permission. Now, what do I mean by we don't have permission? A lot of our friends are busy. And if you meet your mate down the pub or down the squash court or whatever, and he says, "How you doing?" And you've heard me say this before, "I'm fine." The two most dangerous words in any man's vocabulary, because no one's fine. You're not fine watching this. There's something going on in your life right now. And if I ask you how you're doing, and you said, "I'm fine," I guarantee you would think, "Well, I'm not really fine, but I don't know if Jamie has got the capacity or the time for me to really share what's going on for me as I bump into him in the supermarket or whatever." So we just carry on and we hide it away, and we don't go to that place. We never really get an opportunity to share how we're really doing. So that's what these check-ins are about. They're an opportunity every single day for you to really check in with how you're doing. And that full permission not to say, "I'm fine." Because when you do these check-ins on the video check-in, you're not going to hit record and go, "Yeah, I'm fine today." You're going to check in with, how am I doing physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Because that gives you a framework, a bit like the "how are you doing on a 0 to 10 question. That gives you a framework, a barometer. Like if you're a 2 out of 10, your friend can say, "A 2 out of 10, wow, what's having you be on a 2 out of 10? And then you get to go to that place and explain to him, "Well, you know what, my dog died yesterday and I'm feeling quite low about the fact that, you know, he's gone." And then you get to talk about it. It gives you a launch pad to talk about why you're on a 2 out of 10. So the WhatsApp check-ins is a way for you to... That's not good, is it? They can't see me there if I go that way. Let's go this way. It's a great way for you to check in. So let's dive in. Let me explain to you how this works. So there are a few rules. In no particular order, I'm just going to riff these. Look at this view. Aren't I lucky? Fabulous place I live. Anyway, so there are a few rules. So one of the rules is when you receive that message and the ticks go blue, we have no judgment around whether your mates read that message, listened to it. You don't have to get back to him straight away. That's one of the rules. But let me explain how we do it first. It's really windy here. So, where's the best way to do it? There. Okay. So, you choose your friend. You choose the person who you want to do these videos with. That's the first part. And like I said, it doesn't have to be your best mate. This could be someone who you know is particularly good at listening. And you admire something about them. And you think, you know what? I could really try this thing out with Dave from work. Or Pete from five-a-side football. You don't know him particularly brilliantly well, but there's just a little inkling that you guys would have a good connection. And you're only going to trial this for a week, so if it doesn't work out, you can try this with someone else. So you choose your mate, and you get together, you have a chat, maybe send him this video, and you go, "I've been thinking about doing this WhatsApp check-in thing, do you want to try it out with me?" And he goes, "Yeah, all right, we'll do it for a week, no problem." So you connect on WhatsApp, and then we go with those 3 questions. So you literally hit record on the slider. Maybe for the outset, set it to sort of 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. That's all. Nothing big, no performance needed. You just settle into those 3 questions. The first one, how am I doing physically? So you just say that. All right, Dave, so let me start. How am I doing physically today? Yeah, I'm feeling a bit tired. Feeling like my body could do with a bit of a rest right now. Notice my knee injuries playing up. And that's all you need to do. And then you go into, how am I doing emotionally? Question number 2, how am I doing emotionally? You just check in, you just shut your eyes and listen in. Because I invite you not to check in from up here. How am I doing emotionally up here is an intellectual idea. I want you to check in, how am I doing emotionally from here, in your heart, because that's where your emotions are, in your heart and in your gut and in your belly, here. How am I doing emotionally? And really speak to that honestly, truthfully, because your mate that you've set this up with is there to hold space for you, not to judge, not to fix, not to give advice. This is part of the design. I'm going to give you a PDF sheet on how to do this so that you've got it written down. And you share how you're doing emotionally, physically and emotionally. And then you come to spiritually. So like I said earlier, how am I doing spiritually? So me personally today, how am I doing spiritually? I'm feeling really connected right now. I'm feeling really connected to my purpose. Things are moving really well. The universe keeps giving me these opportunities. I keep getting invited on really interesting podcasts at the moment. And my mission is strong. I feel like my mission to help men is really strong. So spiritually, I feel connected and I feel grounded. I feel on purpose. And I feel like my North Star is shining bright. That's how I honestly feel spiritually today. So when you've done this check-in, you just hit send. And your mate will receive that check-in. And at some point during the day, it doesn't have to be as soon as it comes through. That's really important that you design that, because you don't want to keep looking at your phone going, oh, he hasn't listened to it yet. None of that. Let go of all of that judgment stuff. And even if the ticks go blue and you see that he's listened to your message, he doesn't have to reply straight away. He can reply some point that day, the next day, doesn't matter, but you design it. If you want to do this for 7 days, I would suggest that you do it for, he responds, you respond to one another within the same day, because then you can do another check-in the next day. Me and Phil do it in the morning, between 7:30 and 9:30. That's our little pattern. So when he receives that message and listens to it, the second part is he listens to it and then he just records his message the same. How am I doing physically, emotionally and spiritually? Part of his check-in can be to reflect on your message. Now, reflecting on your message literally means what I hear and what I see and my experience is. That's all. So if you were really struggling with something, he'd go, yeah, Dave, I really hear that, mate. That sounds really hard. That's enough. That sounds really tough, man. Losing your dog. I lost my dog a couple of years ago and I know how hard that is. And that's enough. Please do try and refrain from going, yeah, have you tried this? Yeah, you should do this. Or yeah, you ought to be. That's not where we go with this, because we want this to be a non-judgmental space. This is a place for holding, listening and sharing. That's all. So when you've both received your messages, pay attention to how that makes you feel. You've just heard your mate share with you. And in the beginning it might be a little bit clunky, a little bit icky maybe, But just notice those little judgments in you going, oh, my check-in was a bit this, or a bit short, or a bit long. Try not to apologise to your mate and go, sorry mate, that was a bit long. No need for apologies, that's one of the rules. No one gets to be right or wrong in this process. This is not about performing or sounding good or your mate's problems being worse than yours. None of that. This is just you and your mate checking in. And on some days, me and Phil just go, yeah, I'm all right today. Physically, I'm feeling pretty tip-top. Emotionally, I'm feeling quite resilient. Spiritually, I feel fantastic. Send. You don't have to go picking around for stuff, but it's just really important that you speak honestly and truthfully from your heart every time you check in. Now, what this is going to give you is the ability to listen well. Is one of the things it's going to give you. It's going to deepen your friendship, of course, with this person. It's going to give you the ability to listen. And I invite you to listen to your mate's check-in like he's going to test you at the end. We call this level 2 listening. Level 1 listening is when you're really in your head. You know when someone's talking to you and you're thinking, oh, shit, I didn't send that email back to that guy. No, I didn't. I've got to remember to call in at Waitrose on the way home. That means you're at level 1 in your head. If you're level 2 listening, when the person's talking, you're paying 100% attention to what they're saying, almost as if they're going to test you at the end. So apply level 2 listening when you're listening to your mate's check-in. Give it the space and the attention it deserves, because this is going to be such a beautiful experience for you and your mate. I guarantee you're going to carry on more than a week. Men that come and work with me, coaching with me, when I introduce this to them as an idea to do this with their mates, they carry on doing it for months and months, because it becomes a daily practice. It becomes a daily practice that they can't not do. Because you're getting support yourself and you're supporting your mate through his stuff. What an amazing gift for you and for your mate. And it's so simple. 5 minutes. Go to 10 minutes if you want. But design it in such a way with your mate that it doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter if it's 1 minute and he does 10 minutes, or you do 3 minutes and he does 23 minutes. It doesn't matter if you listen to it in 2 sittings because it's quite a long check-in. None of it matters. It's just important that you hold space for one another and listen. That's all you got to do. And then you do your check-in. I guarantee you will absolutely love this. So, this is called the WhatsApp check-in. We don't have any name for it. It's just me and Phil started it and we've carried on doing it. So, let me know how you get on. Drop me a message. Email and everything is in the video. I'd love to hear how you guys get on with it. If you've got any questions on the setup, drop those messages in there. There'll be a PDF in there somewhere that you can download or go to download somewhere. I've not figured that bit out yet. But try this out. This is probably the single most effective daily practice that I have in my life as a man in midlife. Bar none. Bar none. If I don't check in with Phil every single day and vice versa, I don't feel like my day has started. And equally, I get to check in and listen to what he's got to say, how he's doing, where he's at, and send him a reflection. I really hear that, man. I really hear that, how tough that is. Or, great, I'm really excited to hear that fantastic news. Whichever way around it is, you're there for your mate. This is about community. It's about brotherhood. It's about men talking. There's this saying that goes around, men don't talk. Men do talk. Men do talk. We just need the container, permission, and safety. That's it. We need 3 things. Container, permission, safety. That's it. And that's what this process offers us guys. A simple container that is safe, confidential, really important confidential, that you design that together, that you don't share this stuff with anyone else. You don't hear some stuff that your mate's checked in around and then go and tell your mate down the pub. Really, 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 really important that you keep that connection watertight confidential. That's so important, because as soon as you dilute this and you go and share what your mates shared with you and you share it with someone else, you've broken the trust. And if you break the trust, then that's just not cool, is it? Really? So let me know how you get on. This is a really powerful tool. I'd love to hear how you got on. Right, guys, I'm gonna go and walk in the heavens of the Cotswolds. You have an amazing day, and subscribe. Click subscribe, follow for more. There's going to be more of these videos, how-to videos, coaching with me, live stream coaching coming soon. All the Safe Harbour episodes are all down there somewhere. Click subscribe, follow me. This work's so important to me. Let's keep having these conversations so we can push this out. Let's get that subscriber list sky high so we can have a massive community of men doing great work together. Thank you for your support already. You have an amazing day.